What's going on, y'all, and welcome back here to another episode. Have you guys ever had someone ask you to arm wrestle and you kind of weren't sure, or you didn't want to say no, or you did and you still weren't sure on how the result was going to be? Well, there's probably a reason they want to know. Either they think they're stronger than you, either they know a technique that you don't know, or they just believe that they can actually beat you, or they're actually just really curious on knowing. In this video here, I'm going to explain the very basics of just arm wrestling. It's going to be fairly quick. We'll get into a little bit of detail. I'm not going to explain styles too much, as this is a video series of 4, I believe. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to get my fiance. We're going to do this together. I'm going to show you hand positioning. I'll show you how you should measure up against someone when you're arm wrestling, and really what not to do, because I'm not sure if you guys are going to see in the next clip or at the beginning. I'm not sure where this is going yet, but you will get hurt if it's not done properly.
That's all he has.
And I'm going to show you the basics without an arm wrestling table, with no tools, with nothing. This is literally as basic as it gets. You're at a bar, someone asks you, you already know how to do it. I'm showing you on my kitchen table. So yeah, welcome to the video. Stay tuned, and yeah, let's have some fun with it. So, I heard you want to arm wrestle me?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna beat me?
Top row.
You're gonna top roll me? Well, I think I'm pretty good too. Let's arm wrestle. You don't do that. Here we go. Alright, so I'm gonna show you, first of all, how you should be lined up when you're arm wrestling someone. So a lot of people, what they do is they just put their arm up and then they're ready to go. Do not do that. So what I want you to do is I want you to center up your elbow. I want it to center up nice and high, or somewhere kind of center of your shoulders and your chest area. So you want to make sure that you're up like this. So if I'm showing you guys here, you just want to be up nice and tight. So that means bringing your arm in just a little bit, nice and tight. Not out here, not over there, not out here. You really want to make sure that you're literally lined up like this. So think of it like your shoulders are popping, they're popping out of you. Your chest is coming in a little bit and you're tucked in. So let's get in that position. So your elbow, you're going to want it kind of wherever you feel comfortable. Your body is centered on me. Now I'm going to come up and do the same thing. So I obviously have a much longer arm than she does, so it's not the greatest, but it's gonna work. So I come up to you, and this is how it's gonna work. I put my elbow in nice and tight, your elbow's in nice and tight, and now we're gonna lock hands. Now this is something a lot of people just, what they do is they just hold, and that's it, that's the way it is. Now today we're gonna kind of go this route of things, because I did mention that I'm not gonna get into too many styles today, but in the following videos you guys will see. So now that we have our shoulders lined up, you guys can be doing this right now if you want to see, if you want to practice, or when the video's over. Anyways, so now you are challenging me to arm wrestle. I line up to you, you line up to me. We put our elbows in. You want to get it nice and square to your opponent, or to the person who wants to arm wrestle you. Now, usually people will just grip up, so just wrap your hands around the wrist area. Now, you always want to be straight when you're starting. You never want to be like one person's wrist is curled in or the other one's up above or lower. You just want to be nice and square with your opponent. So now that me and you are nice and square, here is something that people get completely wrong and they can completely hurt themselves. When you are arm wrestling, you always want to follow through with your shoulder. And by what I mean by that is you never ever want to be doing just this. You always want to be following through. So if I'm in an arm wrestling match like this, you want to just come in with it all the time. You can go to the side, you can come back, or you can pull back. But you never want to be in a match where your arm's just kind of like, your elbow is out of your shoulder area.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Ow!
And you're just letting your opponent just take your arm to the complete opposite side. You will break your tricep, and you can snap somewhere in your elbow flexors also. I'll show you what not to do now. So now let's pretend Yeah, so let's pretend now that I am arm wrestling you and you do not know what you're doing. Now let's pretend that I do and you don't. Don't put too much pressure. Let it go loose. I'm coming in and you're letting your arm do this. You do not want to do that. What you want to do is you want to kind of bring in your whole body like I mentioned, and you want to follow through with it. So I'll give you an example and then you can do it to me. So I get in tight, my hand's good, we're both straight. 1, 2, 3, go. I come in close and you can follow through with your shoulder at all times. Always with your shoulder. As you can see, she's leaned over with it too. Now, when you're arm wrestling someone, like I said, you don't want to be held up, you don't want to have your arm up and you're just forcing like this, or you're just trying to curl the person in. You always want to be in with your opponent and going with your opponent too. So now let's demonstrate. We come up, line up your whole body, get in tight. 1, 2, 3, go. And then I'm gonna go to pin you here. So 1, 2, 3, bang. You can do the same to me now. I'm following through with my body, coming in. Never, unless you're a little bit more advanced or you kind of know what you're doing, don't ever let your elbow or your arm start separating from your shoulder. You really, like I mentioned a million times already in this video, you want to come up to the table or to the wherever you guys are arm wrestling, get it nice and tight, lock hands, and then you can bring your opponent and you always follow through. Don't ever do this. Don't ever do this. Just get in close and pin. Here. Let's try it again. So you think you can beat me now?
Maybe.
All right, lock hands. Get in close, nice and tight. 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. That's pretty much as basic as it gets. This is literally just to show you guys what not to do and how to win at an arm wrestling match. So in the following videos, I'm going to show you hooking and I'm going to show you top rolling. And those are two just slightly different variations. I'll kind of explain how they work, how to use them, where to position your hands and your arms, and which one is better for you, depending on your size, your height and your size of your arms in general. So I think that's going to wrap it up for today. You know, we've explained positioning on your shoulders, your elbow nice and tight. Always follow through with your shoulder and your arm. Never let your elbow get away from your shoulder. Make sure that your wrists, your hands are nice and straight. And one thing I will explain too is when you're arm wrestling people and you win, example, and you've leaned back or you've leaned somewhere and the other person was just sitting there holding you and then you beat them, most of the time the person or whoever you're going up against will be like, hey, that's cheating, you can't do that, that's completely wrong, you're not allowed, I want a rematch. You're allowed to do that. I would first agree on the rules, but if you don't want to hurt yourself, I would encourage you to actually arm wrestle properly and always follow through every position. Every position. You're up and tight, come in. You're up and tight, come in. Bring that shoulder in. Always go with it. So yeah, I figured I would let you guys know on that. So yeah, we have the actual positioning, the hand positioning. We have how to start off with your shoulders, everything tucked in, stay nice and tight, and just make sure everything's nice and straight and tight, and you guys should be fine. So I think that's going to do it for today's video series. I think it's 1 of 4. Stay tuned for the next videos. I'm going to go over top rolling and hooking, and this is fun. This is actually kind of fun because I'm not using any tables, I'm not using any equipment, I'm not using any gear. That's all going to come in future videos when I do have an arm wrestling table. But as of for now, I'm going to sign out, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe down below, and only if you've enjoyed the content, smash the thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys in the